or seam settings. Controlling stitch lines, hello. In this video, we'll talk about what seam lines are, those vertical marks you see on the surface of your 3D prints, and how to control them using Bambu Studio. Especially for aesthetic prints, understanding these settings can make a big difference. What is a seam line? In FDM 3D printing, each layer starts and ends at a point on the outer perimeter of the model. When these points overlap, a vertical mark appears on the surface. This mark is called a seam line. Seam position settings in Bambu Studio offers several ways to control where the seam line appears. Nearest places the seam at the nearest suitable corner of the current layer. This makes the seam less noticeable. Aligned places the seam at the same position on every layer, creating a visible vertical line. Back places the seam on the back side of the model, ideal for keeping the front-facing side clean. Random places the seam at different locations on each layer, making it less visible but possibly introducing small surface imperfections. Seam gap and wipe speed settings. Seam gap. To make the seam line less visible, extrusion is stopped slightly before completing the outer and inner walls. This leaves a small gap at the seam location, expressed as a percentage of the nozzle diameter. Deweft is 15. Wipe speed. During retraction, a short wiping motion is performed to clean the nozzle. This speed is set as a percentage of the travel speed, e.g., 80% means wiping is done at 80% of the travel speed. Manual stitch mark painting. Sometimes the automatic seam position isn't ideal. In those cases, you can manually set the seam mark using the stitch mark painting P tool in Bambu Studio. Now, let's see how you can manually place stitch marks on your model. Managing seam lines properly is essential, especially for visually clean prints. But did you know there's another way to hide seams entirely? It's called scarf seam. In the next video, we'll dive into what this setting does, how to apply it effectively, and explore its additional settings for even smoother results. See you there.